Since I was born, my family always said, Manny, you have to be a doctor. I mean, take a look at these grades. I could have been a doctor. All my extracurriculars on point. But here's the twist. I dished it all. No university, no med school, no doctor title. Instead, I went all in on a risky dream.
Risky? You mean genius, bro. You knew it was the right move. You just needed me to push you.
Alright. Here's the story on how I disappointed my parents, flunked my grades, and still ended up being happier than I've ever been. Being a doctor wasn't my dream. Like millions of other kids, I grew up thinking it was. Why? Because I was told it was. From the moment we open our eyes, most of us are handed a preset pathway. Doctor, lawyer, engineer. And here's the crazy part. It's done out of love.
Yeah, love wrapped in like 100 pounds of expectation. Let's be real.
Exactly. Our parents want us to be successful, happy, and accepted by society. But what they don't realize is the freedom they strip away from us by forcing their beliefs onto us. And it's not their fault, it's human psychology. Our parents have sacrificed everything to give us a better life. But here's the ironic part. My parents were successful business people who didn't even go to university. They built wealth from nothing, yet they wanted me to play it safe. My sister is the perfect example. She studied molecular genetics for 8 years and then almost got a doctorate and then came back to business. Why? Because that's who she truly was. It's the same thing with me. When parents push something that doesn't align with a child's nature, it eventually breaks. And that's why I believe the safe path isn't just outdated, it's also dangerous. Your parents' dream cannot become your prison. Here's how I finally broke free. It all started with a conversation with my mentor, Mandy Renahan. She told me something that completely changed my mindset. She said, Manny, if you become a doctor, can you maintain your partnership with Oscar, the person that makes you feel alive? This hit hard. I was forcing myself into the idea that I have to be a doctor. But deep down, I love business. I loved working with Oscar. I didn't want to abandon him. And that's when it clicked. I never wanted to be a doctor. I just didn't have the courage to say it.
Honestly, I should have listened to the signs earlier. What do I mean? Let's go back to a couple of events, times when Oscar would just beg me to listen to him. Incident 1, the beginning. This is when I would flex my grades to Oscar all the time and talk about my bright future in med school.
Yeah, Manny was the golden boy, but I was over here like, bro, can we just make money already?
Incident 2, the middle. This is when I was contemplating my life decisions. I was making a shit ton of money, but I still wanted to go to university.
Manny would call me up and say, I don't know, bro, I think med school's still the way. And I'd be like, bro, are you fucking kidding? We just made $100,000 in the past year.
Yup. Incident 3, the end. This was a time where I was basically convinced, but I still had thoughts in the back of my head about the safe path.
I was still pitching ideas like crazy. I was thinking, what if Manny just dropped the idea of university? We would be unstoppable. But since he didn't, he would put in all the time in studying while I was working on the business.
Honestly though, you know what they say, third time's the charm. Well, here's what I finally realized.
It made me realize I wasn't just risking my dream now, I was risking my partnership with Oscar. And that was the wake-up call I needed.
Okay, well, all in now.
When Manny told me he wasn't applying to university, I didn't even let him finish. I was just like, finally, let's do this. That was the moment everything changed.
That week, I quit my job. My grades started slipping, but my bank account started climbing.
I still had a problem though.
I went all in, but convincing my parents was the hardest part. Every time I brought it up, it turned into an argument.
I remember those calls. Manny was like, Bubba, just trust me. And I was like, bro, just show him the bank account already.
Spoiler alert, I took his advice.
Then one day, I showed my dad my bank account. I can still vaguely remember it. It was $23,900 in 4 weeks. He was in disbelief. Later that night, I saw him sitting down, still processing what I'd shown him. That's when I realized I started to change their minds.
A few days later, my mom came up to me and said, "Did you know Bill Gates dropped out of university?" I said, "Yeah, I knew." She told me it gave her comfort to know someone so successful didn't follow the safe path. And that's when I knew they were finally starting to accept my decision.
It's a little gay, right? It's a little gay, right?
It's wild how $23,900 and the story about Bill Gates can turn a Persian family all the way around. Like, was that all we needed to do?
Apparently, man.
Here's the truth. People like Bill Gates don't need university because they're self-aware. They know they can learn faster by themselves and they trust their own capabilities. Mandy saw that in me before I saw it in myself, and Oscar, he saw it the whole time.
I knew from the start that this was going to work. It wasn't about proving other people wrong, it was about proving us right.
And that's exactly what I did. At 17, I mastered sales through trial and error. No courses, no formal training, just love for the game.
And having Oscar on my side, even better.
If there's one thing that I learned about success, it's this. Success isn't about doing it alone. Find someone who shares your vision and put in the work together.
So, here's what I want you to take away from this. Disappointing your parents might hurt, but disappointing yourself, that's a pain you'll have to carry forever. Find yourself, fight for yourself.
And if you are lucky enough, find yourself someone like Oscar to share the journey with.